What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa if you're new here, and tonight I'm back with another episode of Cocktails and Combo, and I'm going to be discussing episode 15 of season 7 of the Real Housewives of Potomac. This cocktail this evening is going to be super simple and quick. I'm making an Aperol Spritz, and let's go ahead and jump into it, y'all. Before I jump into the actual details of the episode, as you all know, there's been a lot of stuff going on in the world of the Real Housewives of Potomac on the blogs. So I wanted to address two of the major things that have been happening. One is the reunion. They showed the reunion looks early, and I just wanted to touch on that. I'm not gonna go and break down all of the looks, but I will say, out of all the looks that were shown, the first person who stood out to me was Dr. Wendy. She looked fabulous. Her makeup, her dress, everything about her looked so gorgeous. Loved it. The person whose outfit I liked the least was Charisse. Oh my gosh, y'all. As I've stated in several of my cocktails and combo videos, I'm one of those people who I would enjoy and love to see Charisse back on the show as a full-time housewife, but the looks that she is giving this season is giving very unmemorable, very boring, very bland. The dress looked like I could have purchased it at Dillard's, which is nothing wrong with Dillard's. I love Dillard's. It's one of my favorite stores. But, you know, when I think of the Real Housewives reunion, I'm thinking high class, designer, you know, uberly expensive, and hers was just giving off the rack, rattling off the rack. And her hairstyle was wearing her. She was not wearing it. And again, it was just a very boring get-up. Now, the other two honorable mentions I will say are Karen and Candace. I will say, when I first saw Karen's outfit, I was like, I'm not feeling this. But then I went back and looked at it and I was like, okay, I can appreciate her look. I had the opposite reaction to Candace. I first saw her look and I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. And then I went back and looked at it and I was like, I don't really know what's going on here. So I'm very curious to kind of see how Candace look appears once we are actually at the reunion episode, which hence after next week's episode, we will be officially at the reunion. So I'm super excited about that. But I did want to mention that. The second thing I wanted to mention is all of the Juan and Robyn drama. I'm going to save my huge rant towards the end, so you're going to want to make sure you watch until the end. But long story short, news came out that they officially, allegedly, got married. I personally feel like there's a lot more to them getting married than it just being cut and dry. They officially got married. And along with that news, receipts came out this week that Juan's other women were basically like, look, he been up in hotels and doing whatever with me. So it was a lot that happened in the world of Potomac. I did want to touch on it, and as I stated, I will be elaborating on my thoughts with the whole Robyn and Juan thing later on. But this is our final product of our Aperol Spritz. Let's go ahead and sit down and keep on going with this conversation, y'all. All right, y'all, so let's jump into it. So this episode kicks off with Robyn going dress shopping. Now, y'all, she's going dress shopping and she's talking about how she's so stressed out and nervous about this wedding that she's about to have. And I'm like, why are you so stressed out and nervous? It's literally going to be a total of 4 people, and that's including yourself, you, Juan, and the boys. Like, what is there to be nervous about? And then she starts listing all the things that she's got to get done. Like, oh my gosh, it's so much. And as someone who had a decent sized wedding, my wedding consisted of about 80 people. Wedding planning, if you've ever planned a wedding, it is stressful. I just can't believe that it's that stressful when it's just the 4 of y'all. Like, literally, you could go to the courthouse and get married, or do what you're doing, go to Jamaica, have your little ceremony, and then go to a Jamaican restaurant and have a mini reception. Just you, Juan, and the boys. Like, I just don't understand how stressful it is. Yes, there are things that you do have to plan, like your hair and makeup, but that's as simple as going on Zola or the knot and seeing what recommended, stylists that they have and booking. It's not that deep, y'all. That's just coming from someone who had a decent sized wedding. 4 people, that's a breeze. That is a breeze. So that's how the episode kicks off. Eventually, Giselle and Ashley meet her there, and while Robyn is trying on dresses, Ashley and Giselle get to talking, and of course, in true Ashley form, Ashley starts spilling the tea about what happened after the last Mexico dinner. And basically, Ashley was like, drinks were flowing, and Mindy went up to Wendy and basically was like, you look good, and I want to do some things to you. And Ashley's take on it, Wendy didn't necessarily shut Mia down. It was basically like Mia approached Wendy, and Wendy was like, well, okay, I hear you talking. And so, of course, Giselle was like, look, I'm about to go run and tell this and create my own story and narrative and make it a lot more juicier than what it is. And that's exactly what Giselle did throughout the episode. Eventually, Ashley leaves and Robyn takes a break from dress shopping, which I think this whole thing was just a joke. It could not have been serious. People elope, and I have seen where people elope and they have wedding dresses and they still go through the same motions as they would normally go through if they had a bigger wedding, but it's just them and their spouse. But it's just something about this wedding dress shopping that it just feels like a joke. I don't feel like Robyn's really serious about it. Once she's there with just Giselle and Ashley, it's like, not to say you had to invite everyone, because essentially she's not going to have a huge wedding and people aren't invited to her wedding, but you would think that maybe some more people that she's close with would have been there to share that moment. And then she was putting on the dresses and it just seemed like, it just seemed like she was trying on prom dresses, as you all probably did when you went to prom back in high school. But while she's taking a break from trying on dresses, Giselle approaches Robyn and basically like, look, we want to have this bachelorette party for you. We want to throw it. And she's like, who do you want there? And Robyn is like, I don't want Karen or Wendy there. Now, Karen made sense given the heated argument they had in Mexico. Wendy, it made sense because I don't feel like that little kumbaya moment that Wendy and Robyn had earlier on in the season, I don't feel like it was a two-sided thing. Like, I got the sense that Wendy was ready to bury the hatchet and kind of move past this beef and tension that they had. But when she was talking to Robyn earlier on in the season, I think at Candace's graduation cookout, I didn't get the sense that Robyn was there with Wendy yet. Like, I felt like Robyn was like, I'm not going to keep arguing with you when we're out, but I'm not ready to kind of claim you as a close friend. And Robyn was upset that when Karen was going in on Robyn in Mexico, Wendy was laughing. Now, y'all, it was funny. That part was funny. Like, I just think anyone would laugh. And I found it interesting that she was upset at Wendy, but I'm almost certain Candace and Ashley were laughing too, but they still got an invite. So I get it. Like, she's obviously closer to Ashley and Candace, but I just kind of felt like, if that is your criterion standard on why Wendy's not getting invited because she laughed when Karen made that comment, I just felt like, okay, how do you not hold Candace and Ashley to the same standard? Like, I would have much rather Robyn just been like, look, we try to kind of get over things, and I don't necessarily hate her or have strong dislike for her, but I'm not ready to like personally invite her to my bachelorette party, especially when she was kind of kikiing at the Karen joke. So I thought that was funny. The whole outing was funny in my opinion, but Robyn has got to work for her position. I honestly think, y'all, this season Robyn is doing anything to keep her spot on the show. Like, it is subtle desperation to me. It is subtle desperation. She is really trying to keep a spot on the show, and I'm over it. it's a mess. So the next scene, or the one that was significant to me, was when Karen and Wendy met up. They were kind of revisiting the Juan accusation that Karen stated about Juan. Basically like, look, I felt uncomfortable and I felt like he was being inappropriate when he hugged me. And I thought it was very telling that, because I personally do think that Karen is adding a lot of fluff to this story. Like, I can believe that Juan hugged her. I have a hard time personally believing that Juan was like hugging her in a very seductive way, but that's not my truth, so who knows? And then we all know Karen can add a lot to emphasize and the story, so I'm having a hard time believing it. But I did find it was telling that they flashed back to Karen's wig party, and she brought up the fact that, you know, Juan likes to run his mouth, and, you know, she has some tea on Juan. And I was just like, maybe, just maybe Karen is not making this up. Maybe not. Ashley calls them and basically breaks the news that, hey, there's a group chat going on discussing, you know, Robyn's bachelorette party, and I noticed the two of y'all were not in on it. And Ashley tried to make it seem like they weren't in on that group chat because Giselle is planning it, and Giselle has beef with Wendy and Karen. But I'm glad Wendy was like, no, when you plan a bachelorette party for someone, it doesn't matter if you don't like their friends. The person who is the bride-to-be is the one who selects the guest list. And so the fact that they weren't included lets Wendy and Karen know that she don't really bang with them like that. And I feel like at this point, Wendy should just kind of move on it. Like, just move on. That ship has sailed. Like, and let's be honest, there's a high likelihood Robyn ain't even gonna be on the show next season. Definitely not 2 seasons ago. So, I mean, it's no sense of her really wearing her pretty little head off over somebody who's probably not gonna be back here next season. So, now around the same time that this conversation between Wendy and Karen were going on, Candace was giving all the tea and details of what happened in Mexico to Chris. And basically she was like, Karen was going after Juan and accusing Juan of doing all this. And Chris was like, here we go with another husband narrative. So hopefully next season with Potomac, we leave these husband narratives in the past. We got one husband who has not been, you know, harassed, and that is Gordon. So again, mark my words, if Giselle is on the next season of the Real Housewives, Gordon will be the husband that they go after. I'm throwing that out there. So after the lunch and brunch scenes between Karen, Wendy, and Candace, we segue into Giselle going to Mia's house and really them getting into the planning and the details of Robyn's bachelorette party. And in them discussing those details, of course, the tea with Mia and Wendy came up. Now, in the beginning of the episode, Ashley had stated that Mia was kind of the one who approached Wendy on the flirtatious sexual aspect. And Wendy basically was just like, yo, I'm not gonna go all the way with you, but I'm not gonna turn you down. But I thought it was telling that when Giselle and Mia were talking, Mia made it seem like, yes, I did approach Wendy, but Wendy was more of the, you know, the one who pursued me. Like, yeah, you know, I gave her a little compliment, said I wanted to eat her coochie cat, but she was the one who was really like, I want to touch on you, all that type of stuff. And Mia was just basically like, look, I'm not getting down like that until I have consent from both Eddie and Gordon. Now, y'all know how I feel about this whole Mia, Giselle talking situation about Wendy. Sometimes I really think especially Giselle, I think Giselle does not like Wendy that much that she can blow something up and make it more than what it is. I think she has a tendency of trying to tarnish Wendy, her reputation, and try to bring Wendy down. And I think sometimes she can just add a lot of extra stuff that didn't happen. And I think Mia feeds into that. And we all know that Mia has a history of like being very cloudy with the actual facts and details of what actually happens. We saw that all last season where Mia would be in the room, hear something, and then completely turn it into something else. And then when people call her out and be like, girl, that didn't happen, she was like, oh, I thought that did. So I'm not surprised that they tried to flip it and turn it into like Wendy was more of the one who was kind of feeding into it and was trying to jump Mia's bones. Obviously, as we see later on in the episode, when all the ladies were on the party bus, they all confirmed that Wendy was into the whole Mia, you know, approaching her, and they were both flirting with each other. So maybe there's some truth to it, but I find it really hard that like Wendy was like really trying to get at Mia, like she was trying to jump her bones and get in them draws like in Mexico. I don't believe that. Something else that was brought up and mentioned was the fact that Giselle asked if Mia had spoken to Jacqueline, and Mia had said that Jacqueline had called, but Mia was like, look, I ain't got time for it. Like, Mia was like, Jacqueline called, trying to come over, and Mia was like, nope. And you know, again, that's the downside of friendships, especially friendships where you're sisters with each other. Like, you love each other, and I'm sure they will reconcile, but I'm pretty sure there's like the feeling and standpoint of like, look, I need a break. How you conducted yourself down in Mexico was not cool, and we're not going to breeze and brush over this like it was nothing. Like, no, you cannot come to my house. No, I'm not ready to talk about it. Leave me alone. And that's fair. I don't blame Mia for just being like, I need a couple more weeks, a couple more days. So kudos to her. So we get to the main event of this episode, which is the bachelorette party. And I will say, y'all, we all know, if you're a true fan of the show, that Giselle Bryant cannot dress. She cannot dress, but I will say, and I will give her credit, that she looked good in her bachelorette party dress. She looked really good. It was hugging her right. It made her look young and vibrant, and the color looked good on her skin. Like, she looked good. I like to give credit where credit is due. She looked good. She made me want to buy that dress because she looked that good. And then, of course, we had a Stow My moment between Ashley and Mia. They both wore this like snakeskin bodysuit get up, and I will admit, Mia looked better in it. My personal opinion, she could fill it out a little bit more. She has had the work to help her fill out certain outfits, but Mia looked good. A few more honorable mentions with the outfits. Candace looked good. I love the way that Candace dressed. I really do. I loved her black spandex outfit in the shades. I'm loving it. Charisse. She is giving very regular, basic. It's just not given. Again, if you are a true housewife fan, you know these ladies come dressed to the T, designer, like they come to any event all made up. I've rarely seen a housewife franchise where they're just kind of chilling, except for the Real Housewives of New York. There are a lot of scenes where the women are chilling, but most of the time their chilling wardrobe is still high fashion designer. Like, it may look like they got like a regular t-shirt on and some jeans, but I'm pretty sure them shirts are like $300-$400 and the jeans are like $1,000. Like, that is their chilling attire. And Charisse, she looked bad. Like, it was just a whole bunch of patterns going on. She just didn't look good. And then, like I said it earlier with the reunion look, she just didn't look good. And I'm one of the people that actually wants to see Charisse come back as a full-time housewife. And I just feel like she is just giving forgettable with these looks. And it's like, your looks aren't memorable and your storyline is kind of like, you're trying to ride the coattails of Karen a little bit too much. So it's like, girl, we got to step something up. So something else about Charisse in the first parts of the bus scenes was the fact that she said she was upset that she was not the one planning this event. She felt like Mia didn't know Robyn long enough, which is fair. And you know, Giselle and Robyn have this bestie green-eyed bandit thing going on. So she was in her feelings a little bit, which I personally feel like if you wanted to plan it, you should have just stepped up and planned it. Like, I'm the type of person that Robyn comes off is like, Robyn seems like she's the type of person, she wouldn't have even cared if she didn't have a bachelorette party. So she definitely doesn't seem like the type of woman that was going to make a big fuss about who's gonna plan my bachelorette party. It was just like, yo, whoever steps up and takes the lead on this, they can do it. And Giselle was the one who took the lead on it, took the initiative, and she asked Mia because Mia is a prior stripper. So that's how it worked out. I just kind of feel like if she really wanted to plan it, she should have done it. Maybe some behind the scenes, this is my thoughts, I have nothing to back this up, but maybe behind the scenes, maybe the network push for Giselle and Mia to do it because they are actually full-time housewives and Charisse isn't, but who knows? I thought it was just kind of like a girl, shut up. Like, it was just like, well, maybe I'm not really a big fan of Charisse as I think I am. Like, she has her moments where she gets on my nerves, so I need to figure that out, y'all. I need to figure that out. So as the ladies are getting hyped on the bus for the party, heading to the strip club, you've got the scene with Karen. She is unveiling her 4-wick, I think it was 4-wick candle, which I will say the packaging looked very pretty. I love the packaging of the candle. Nice big candle. This is a nice big candle. I thought it was telling and interesting that she was like, Ray, take a picture of me because I want, you know, Robyn to see, you know, instead of me being at her bachelorette party, I'm in my bag. And I was just like, you're supposed to be unbothered, but the way you're carrying yourself is you bothered. Like, you are upset that you were not invited. Let's just call a spade, you're upset. So the ladies arrive at the strip club, and the strip club seemed like a vibe. Like, it really did. I've never gone to a strip club and seen like a whole shower. Like a whole shower head was in the strip club. And I was like, that seems nice. I will say, watching this scene, it made me miss my days where I was ripping and running the DMV. I went to school in Baltimore, y'all, so I definitely did my fair share of evenings and nights in the city of DC and a lot of nights in the city of Baltimore, but it definitely made me miss my young, wild, and free nights just ripping and running at the clubs, especially the strip clubs up in the DMV, y'all. And I thought it was funny, like the ladies were throwing dollars and Giselle walks up to give her dollars to the strippers and she's like, hi. I thought that was funny. I was like, girl, you look so awkward. But it was a good time. They start ordering food. And this is a nice, like I stated, this was a nicer strip club because all the strip clubs I ever went to in the past, if they serve food, is like chicken wings. I think I went to a lot of ratchet strip clubs, y'all, because this one was nice. The shower, the fact that you could order a lobster and steak, it's definitely a nice. Mia did her thing on this. As the ladies are waiting for all their nibbles and foods and kind of getting comfortable at their booth, Charisse is drunk and she brings up the Ashley Michael situation. It basically asks Ashley, how are things between she and Michael? And Ashley basically is like, look, we're cordial. We are not getting back together, but it's almost like they're not actively moving towards signing the papers. And she makes a point to say that she has paused dating because Michael said he's not dating. We all know Michael Darby, y'all. We know he out there in them streets. And Candace basically confirms, like, look, your man was at my husband's bar with another female. And so Ashley's like, oh my gosh, like upset. And it's just like, girl, do you not know your husband? Like, we as viewers have watched this man for 6 seasons, now 7 seasons, you know, kind of run up and down all through the DMV, kind of cheating on you. So I don't know why you would think that now that y'all are separated, and it is public knowledge that y'all are separated, that he wouldn't go out here and have a side piece. Like, I don't know why you would think you could believe that, but whatever. She's upset, feeling some type of way, but it's like, girl, that's your husband, you married him. So they're ordering drinks, they're ordering food, getting real comfortable, having a good time. And then Charisse starts talking and running her mouth, and you can tell she is drunk, y'all. She is drunk. And she starts spilling all the tea on Karen about how she's a whore and how back in the day they used to go out to the clubs and Karen would just let anybody into her drawers and be sleeping with people in the bathroom. And I thought it was interesting because all the women at the table basically was like, I heard that too. Even Mia, like people were saying like Mia had never heard that. And even she was like, I heard that. Everybody was just confirming that Karen has been and may still be a little hoe running through Potomac. She said that she had talked to Gordon, and Gordon had mentioned that with Ray being significantly older than Karen, that now they're at this age that maybe he feels like he can't keep up with her. And so he just allows her and is okay with her kind of going out and having other lovers and partners because he knows he cannot meet her needs. And if you all watched my previous video, I alluded to that as well. Like, I do feel like the age gap and difference between Karen and Ray makes me believe that some of these accusations about Karen having another man, Karen having a side piece, is true. And the fact that not only do they have a significant age difference, but the fact that like personality wise, like Ray seems to be very chill, low key, and Karen is just like life of the party, center of the party. And I think, you know, after a while, once you get older, you just look, I can't hang with that. And I love you, you my wife, I ain't going nowhere, you're not going nowhere, but if you gotta go get somebody else, I'm not gonna make a big fuss about it. I believe that. So after they get done spilling Karen's tea, that's kind of where the episode concludes. And next episode is the season finale. So looking forward to that, and I'm super excited about these reunions, y'all. I'm more excited about the reunion than I am about next episode. But I am curious to see kind of how Candace's video premiere goes. I'm curious to see if Chris is going to approach Giselle or how he's going to respond to all these accusations. It'll be good. I'm interested, but I really want to see the reunion, especially y'all. I got to see how they handle all this stuff that has been happening in the season. So now to my Robyn and Juan rant. So again, this past week, it came out that they officially got married. That's what the report said, but maybe like a day after the report came out that they were officially married, you had Juan's alleged side piece come out and sharing receipts that, hey, you know, he's out here in these streets, he's messing with other women, and Robyn is aware of it. And the only thing that she asks is that it not be public. And like homegirl even shared like hotel receipts where you could see like Robyn Dixon's email. So allegedly, you know how it is, y'all. As for them officially being married, I believe personally that they either had the ceremony, but they did not get the official paperwork done at the courthouse, or they got the official paperwork, they did not file it upon their return, and that they are not in any way, shape, or form legitimately married. I recall maybe about a year ago when there was like rumors, or when the blogs were saying like, hey, Robyn and Juan are gonna get married, blah, blah, blah. I do recall that there were blogs stating that Robyn did go to the courthouse and get the paperwork and file for a marriage license. Now, if you have been married before, you know that prior to you getting married, you have to go down there and file for the marriage license. And there's a time period after you actually have the wedding that you have to go and actually get the notarized document with the stamp of the city, basically like, yep, we're married. And if you don't get that done, it's kind of null and void. So I do recall rumors coming out that she got the paperwork. There's a difference between her getting the paperwork and actually filing for the official marriage license after the ceremony happened. And that's where I'm skeptical about. And mind you, show comes out on Sunday. It's been almost a full week that this news has come out. I have not seen anything or anybody actually go share the actual receipts that they are married. Because there are some people out here in the Real Housewives world that will go and get that public knowledge. I'm not one of them. I'll wait till somebody shares it and be like, oh, that's true. I haven't seen that. By now, if this was an official thing, somebody would have shared that paperwork. We have not seen that. So that makes me believe that this is not a real thing. Not to mention, she made it very clear that it was only going to be her, Juan, and the boys at this ceremony. So like Karen said, there is nobody to validate that they actually got married except for herself, Juan, and the boys. And of course, if that is the narrative that y'all are going with, why would they step out of line? I heard that at the reunion or maybe next episode we'll get some footage. So maybe, she took some phone images, pictures, whatever to show their ceremony. Either way, I do not think this is real, y'all. As I stated earlier, I really think this is Robyn trying to fight for her spot. Robyn and Giselle, they have been taking up and wasting space on this franchise. And the only credit that Giselle gets is the fact that she stirs up drama. But a lot of these women, Robyn, Giselle, Ashley, a lot of them, they do not deserve to be on the show. They are not sharing anything in their personal lives at all. They are there to stir the pot and get drama started. Ashley, for a few seasons, from the first 4 or 5 seasons, the whole daggone show was centered around her life. So I guess we'll give Ashley a break. She need a break because they have dragged her through the mud. And even this whole Michael Darby, we're getting divorced thing, she's talked about it, but I was sitting and watching the episode tonight and I was just like, I really feel like for her to be going through a divorce, I didn't see that much of this in this season. I just felt like it was mentioned, she went house hunting, but there was not much of us seeing her process and figure this out as I thought it was going to be. So, not adding anything there. Giselle talked about the fibroids for half the second, and that was it. Had her daughter's sweet 16, and that was it. Nothing from her. And then Robyn, it's just been the wedding. But prior to this season, nothing. Just Giselle's sidekick. I feel like the network, producers, whomever, whatever behind the scenes, my thoughts, my words, don't know anything. I do think that I think it's public knowledge. I think everyone's acknowledging these women, especially Giselle and Robyn, aren't really adding much to the show other than stirring the pot and the drama. And Robyn has been overdue of just kind of coasting. And I feel like she's aware of it. I feel like she's aware that we as the viewers are tired of it. And I think she is trying to make this narrative a big thing so that there's a reason for her to come back and do another season. Let's be done with it. Please let this be the last season with Robyn. Please. And with the whole Juan cheating allegations, allegedly he's cheating. I believe that he does have another side piece. I do believe that Robyn is aware of it and she's okay with it because I don't think that they are in love with each other romantically. I think they love each other as friends and that they share 2 beautiful sons together. So there's always going to be that mutual love between them. But I do not believe that they are in love with each other romantically. They are roommates. They live together. I can even believe they occasionally have sex, but it's very few and far between when they have sex anymore. I believe that part of their relationship is done, but I do think that she needs Juan to stay on this show. And I think Juan, he's living with her. I don't know how much he's contributing to what's going on, but the fact that she bought that house is in her name, I believe financially and as parents, they need each other to kind of keep operating the lives that they are operating, but that's about it. I think they're used to operating their household systems in their day-to-day lives with each other, but I do not think that they are in love with each other. I think they both have come to this agreement, we're just gonna do this. We're gonna do this for the boys and we're gonna do this to keep my position on the show. I know Some people may think or believe that because they officially got married and that all these accusations have come out literally a day after they announced that they're married, that this may solidify her spot on the show for next season. I do not think that. I honestly do not, because I personally feel like in order for this whole Juan cheating narrative and Robyn and him being married now to actually be entertaining, they would have to talk about it. Juan does not like to be on the show, y'all. He has stated over and over again, he has stated that he does not like to be on the show. This man barely appears on the show. We maybe see Juan once every season. He is not an active participant on this show as the other husbands are. So do you honestly think he is going to be active on the show and talk about his alleged side pieces he has? No, he is not. And it's not gonna stick if it's just Robyn talking about it, because Robyn's not gonna talk about it, because Robyn has decided she is going to maintain this lie and this narrative that Juan does not have any other women, that they are a happy, loving family, although we all know that is not the case. So I think this is the nail in the coffin. I hope and pray and think that this may be the last season that Robyn is on. And the only reason why I would think that they would bring Robyn back next season is because I don't think it's easy for them to just get rid of a housewife and then bring in a new one. It's almost like any other friend group. Like, you stop hanging out with a friend and then somebody else brings their friend. Like, you got to fill that friend out. We as the viewers got to fill them out. The ladies have to fill them out. The new housewife entering into the group doesn't really start to seem like it makes sense until maybe their second, maybe third season. But, you know, it's just not like it's your first season, it all kind of lands. Like, no, it takes time for us as viewers to take to this new housewife as well as the ladies. And I could believe that the network is like, we don't want to go through trying to find a new person to be on this show and like going through the growing pains of this woman trying to get acclimated in this group. So maybe we'll keep Robyn just to kind of keep this train going. But if she comes back next season, I think it'll only be for that one season. Like, I really feel like we are coming to an end of Robyn being on the show, because she just doesn't add much to it at all. So that's my opinion. That is my take. That is my view. That is my rant. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you like it. Liking this video helps me to grow as a channel. Make sure you subscribe, y'all, because of course I'm gonna finish up this season. If you want to engage in conversation, if you have some more facts and tea to share, please drop it below in the comment section, y'all. Again, make sure you subscribe, and as always, I will see you all in the next video below.